What's up, everyone? Welcome to the podcast. We're so dedicated to talk about all the poggers things in life, like music, content creation, and video games. I am one of your co-hosts, JesseKazam.
And I am not surprised. I couldn't resist. And I just dipped my toes into the comments section for last week.
Oh, brother, what have you done?
And it's how am I surprised?
I don't know.
Every time, like it's the oh sweet summer child.
Yeah.
But the first like 4 comments I saw were, oh, so Veritas doesn't like Stalker and it all boils down to a skill issue. I'm just bad. Yeah, like that's why, right? I hate the fucking environment and the quests and the stories and the characters because I'm bad.
Yeah.
And not only did I not, like I caveated everything, way more than I needed to. Way more than I needed to. How many times did I make it clear, right, that you can like the game and you're not wrong?
Yep.
It's totally subjective. And like the second comment was, he's telling us we're all fucking idiots because we like the game.
Yeah.
Where does he get the gall to tell us that we're all stupid? It's like, dude. It's almost like you heard what I said and it went in one ear and then the opposite out the other ear.
Yep.
Like bounced around in your brain.
What shape do you think the Earth is, my brother in Christ? That's my new, like, whenever I see, because we went so deep after your flat Earth stuff into like that logic and reasoning circle that they go into. And when I see glimpses of it, i.e. that, where you can say, you said last week, I understand that people love this game. You said last week, if it was a Zelda game, I would probably have a much more emotional connection to it and like it even in spite of things because I have a personal connection with Zelda. And you were like, here are my issues, but if you like it, dude, hell yeah. And then when the response is like, you're telling us we're dumb for liking it, you suck, whatever. My thing is just like, what shape the Earth do you think the Earth is? Because you're 2 feet in a heartbeat from we never landed on the moon because you just can't reason, like you can't accept. Just like, and it's crazy.
They
so
can't rationalize that they don't like me and they really like Stalker.
Yes.
And so the only explanation is he had to have said all these dumb, crazy, wrong things that I never said.
So it's funny. I find it
like
funny.
you have to have some like emotional implicit bias against me, I think, which I like. Listen, I understand. I'm like, I have a personality that, some people like, some people don't like. I'm not.
And hey,
I'm not everyone's cup of tea.
You're the real one out there for hating one or both of us and still listening to a 2.5-hour podcast. Thank you for the ad ref. Thank you for being here. We appreciate.
Thank you for commenting about how much you hate listening to this now, and you wish that But
it is funny, dude. That it's so funny the timing of that. I literally just happened to, once again, like I've talked before about how I don't often go through the comments because of like my own videos as well. But sometimes it's unavoidable. Sometimes you get a push notification and you get a comment, or sometimes you're just on your YouTube homepage, like your YouTube studio homepage. I made a video about Delta Force last week, and the video was like, it was super easy to write off Delta Force at first. Here are the things they've done that have been like, ooh, this is kind of cool, but let's temper our expectations and wait and see what actually happens. And I just, like an hour ago, got a comment, and it showed up and I couldn't miss it. And it's a shame that these YouTubers that have a huge following will shamelessly promote mediocre games that they don't care about the viewers playing, a quality game that they got paid by the company to promote a slop of poop. There were like 4 sentences in there somehow, some way. And I was just like, I was almost just like, bro, give me some of what you're smoking. It's just, it was just one of those times where it was like, damn, That was an unavoidable one. It hit me right in the face, and I was like, "Yeah, what?"
People, this is one of the problems with modern society. People have preconceived notions about things. That guy, and in many cases, rightfully so, is like super cynical and whatever against gamers and, but so he's got that mindset. He also doesn't like Delta Force for whatever set of reasons.
Yeah. Yep.
So then he sees a video that isn't exactly the same opinion as him.
Yeah.
And he puts you in a very specific tiny bucket.
Yeah.
And doesn't listen to what you have to say, doesn't care.
Yeah.
He's made up his mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like they're so detached from reality.
Yeah.
9 out of 10 times, they're just the people that are detached from reality, and they just can't be reasoned with, and they're so emotionally invested in like this narrative. And 1 out of 10 times, they jump the gun, and they were just one of those people that was having a bad day.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you commented, they'd be like, "I went back and I watched it, and you're right.
Yeah.
Like, my bad."
Yeah. But like, it's funny because it's the same thing we've been having. That comment partially, and then we've been getting it a lot on stream, and even apparently there was some big Twitter beef where like one prominent content creator was calling out like another prominent content creator. I'm not on Twitter much, but I've kind of got the gist through
that
chat. But it's basically this idea, and this comes up anytime a new game comes out. Like literally, you pick any audience. I bet this happens in the Call of Duty audience. I bet it happens in the Valorant audience. You know what I mean? You take an audience like a sub niche of gaming. Anytime a new game comes out, there you inevitably get all of these people are getting paid. And then I hit you with hey, I'm not getting paid. If I was getting paid, I would be glad to admit I was getting paid. I would have no problem with that. Please give me money,
ad.
And I would have to disclose it. And then they go, like you guys follow the rules. And I go, this conversation was fun. It's over. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's now a nuh-uh, like, because it's, you know what I mean? It's over. And so apparently that happened where like some content creator was like all these, and then it's funny because the drama, there's so many like psychological things at play here where it's like, one is what you talked about where like we are so much more connected and will believe firmly something we already believe, said by someone. Saying somebody in authority saying it makes it easier to believe, especially if it's something we already believe. And we love drama. So when one person says, fine, I'll say it, all these content creators are getting paid and not disclosing it. If you hate Delta Force and like the content creator that said that, you're just rock hard, bro, because the whole thing just lined up and strike. You know what I mean? It's now I love the drama of it. This guy's right. This guy's finally calling him out. And then those people end up in my chat and they're like, what? Or in my comment section, they're like, I can't believe you're shilling this game. And I'm out here like, if I was, I wouldn't be ashamed of that. Like, give me money, Delta Force. I'll tag them on Twitter. You want to pay me to play the game? Like, I'm so not ashamed of it. I'm just not currently getting paid by them to play the game. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
And the sad thing is that, and I don't know anything about this specific case that you're talking about. I genuinely have no idea.
Yeah, nor do I really.
But very often I see the content creator doing the calling out. Sometimes it's like totally like needed to be said,
for
whatever.
Sure.
But I almost feel like 60% of the time it's, and I won't even say that they're like clout chasing or that they are but they are inherently getting way more of a benefit from calling people out for something that they invented. That it's purely speculation, that they're speaking from a position of authority. Like, I've seen behind the curtain. I know this is what YouTubers do when they maybe heard a rumor about one person.
Yep.
And then they paint this wide brush, and then all the people are like, bro, you're so based. You're so fucking goated, dude, for fucking speaking out. So then now they're like, the person like took a sheet of paper, painted a target and we're like, see, look how fucking dangerous this is for me to say. And then it's like, boom, collect the check.
Exactly. They're not trying to convince the other content creators' fans to become fans of them. They're trying to convince the other content creators' haters to become fans of them. So if you align with the hate, you're a champion. And it's weird. And once again, I don't even know what really happened about the Delta Force thing. I'm just saying this happens over and over again. And it's funny because the thing is it's an unprovable thing. Like if I say you're getting paid, you're not going to log into Wells Fargo and show me your freaking, thing.
Well, what do I show you that my bank account doesn't have a transaction?
Exactly. And I couldn't prove that you are. And so that's generally because I do want to be careful. I also very much so agree with what you said. When somebody's doing some ding dong shit, like we should call them out on it. But the thing is, when that's done well, it's always here's the proof. Here's why. Here are the receipts.
Yep.
So that is if you are interested in this, that's so often how you can tell. That should be your barometer on like, ooh, this might have some merit to it. We should call out these people. It's almost never when somebody's just like, man, this person's doing this. Period. Done. End of set. It's like, okay, bro. Well, why? Do you just hate them? You know what I mean? You have to provide more than that. So the paid thing is funny. And once again, it's really not surprising. Like I didn't get into a fight with any of the chatters. Like it's happened. I used to get into fights with people when it happened, but I've just been doing this long enough that I realized that it's like, dude, I could play freaking literally anything. You know what I mean? I could play Balatron on stream and then the people who are like, oh my God, he's a Tarkov streamer. He would never play Balatron on stream without getting paid. It's just like, and then I also get told that I get paid by Battle State. So it really is just full circle. And that's how it's all comes from a baseless thing is because like, the only thing I could do that isn't, I'm not getting paid to do is just not stream at that point. And then my favorite thing and once again, like this used to bother me and it doesn't. I think it's funny, but my favorite thing now, and we just laugh, is like, I got 400 messages today, chat messages. Jesse, for real though, what are your real thoughts about the game? I've had so many, and it's so,
like you just spent your time making a video straight up lying.
It's so condescending. It's, hey Jesse, what are your thoughts about the game? Be honest. I was like, oh man, I was just about to lie to you,
be honest?
But you hit me with the be honest, and now I've got nothing to, dude. I just want to know the psychology behind that chat message, because if you're typing be honest, it's because you think that I'm at least willing to give a fake opinion, which is fine. That's actually pretty understandable. It's pretty understandable, like you said, to be skeptical about if a content creator's opinion, maybe whatever. Like that's fine. But do you think putting be honest, if you think I would lie to you, do you think be honest is enough of a, do you think be honest is going to get me over the finish line of like, oh shit, I gotta be truthful to this guy. So I find it so funny, dude. What are your real thoughts? Be honest. Be honest.
So like not only are people not aware that like there are literal SEC fucking regulations.
Yeah.
Like there are laws against, like now again, that doesn't, people break laws all the time, right?
People break the law all the time.
But I'll tell you, I don't want to be one of the ones to break the law. I'm not trying to get fucking audited by the SEC, the IRS.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to, so responsible folks, if they're getting paid, need to disclose it. You should see either #ad in the title or this video includes paid promotion, that little pop-up. And that's one of those things, like when I'm submitting a video and I go to hit publish, one of the things that's like, you haven't checked the box. It asks you,
yeah,
is the video made for kids? Is it not made for kids? Does this video have paid promotion? Yes or no?
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think in many ways, those people, again, there's like 5% of it is reasonable to me.
Yeah.
Because in many ways, it's a kind of reaction to like all those wink, wink, nudge, nudge, Raid Shadow Legends ads, where it's like, you know the people, and I even say this, like, I remember talking to, I don't know if it was Carl Jobs or one of my YouTube friends being like, actually, like, I raid Shadow Legends is kind of fun, dude.
Yeah.
You know, so it's
yeah.
like, but like, there are a lot of times where you can kind of tell that the person is like, definitely play the game, and it's almost like obvious that they are just like, I'm getting paid, whatever the fuck, you know.
Yep.
So I think that those people just assume every ad is like that kind of thing, and just assume that it couldn't possibly be good. So if you're saying it's good, you're obviously just getting paid, and those people sometimes, or very often, aren't even being critical. It's almost like they're like, I know you don't really like it, and it's totally fine. Make that bag, bro.
Dude, yes,
make that bag,
yes, bro.
But like, tell me what you really think.
They've come to an acceptance of their own lie, like their own made up universe. They no longer, it's like they made up a universe where something happens that they don't like, and then they were frustrated at it, and then they went through the 7 stages of grief about the made up universe, arrived at acceptance, and then came in and they were like, I know, but it's fine. Make the bag, king, but tell me what you really think. And it's like, you went like 4 miles in the wrong direction, bro. Like, and it's so crazy. And the thing is like, I would be a terrible shill because all day we were talking about things we don't like, things we like, things I hate, things I was disappointed by, things I was like, I feel like in my head, when I'm thinking about like a pure shill, it's the like, dude, this Raid Shadow Legends is so much fun, dude. It's so, listen, like I played for 6, like I've been shitting on the game, but there's 49% of the time.
True though.
Yeah, true. But I'm saying like 49% of the time, I'm like talking about what I don't like. 51% of the time, I'm talking about things I like, and it's like shill. Which I would say shill is like 90-10 minimum.
If you see me doing an ad for S.t.a.l.k.e.r, like S.t.a.l.k.e.r, the gambling web, if you see me doing an ad for that, I'm absolutely shilling and fucking cancel me and whatever, because they would have made to have generational wealth, $100,000 minimum for like a 30-second ad spot. But yeah, I mean, ultimately the sad part of all of this is it's a race to the bottom, where you and I and people like us have no respect and dehumanize every commenter, because there's no way that we can. I was talking to my fucking barber about this. He's always asking me about YouTube stuff. There's a few different universes. There's a universe where we read all the comments, and you spend the time and the emotional effort to figure out, like, is this criticism constructive? Is this coming from, it's all random anonymous usernames. Yeah. No facial expressions, no tone, just text. Mm-hmm. Where you have to parse that out, right? And that right there is why people like myself end up in therapy, because they treat it as if I was in a room and there's 10 people and they all want to tell me something about me. In real life, I'd be like, let's sit down, let's have a chat, right? But I would be able to communicate in real time, back and forth, with facial expressions and with tone of voice. And that's how normal humans act and normal humans behave. And that's why why I don't get in verbal confrontations for literal years in real life, right? But in Twitch chat, it's every 14 minutes because the internet is just a race to degeneracy. Okay, so there's that world. Then there's a world where you post something and don't look at a fucking thing. Yeah. But then that's the equivalent of playing a concert over Zoom. Yeah. Compared to being in front of an audience of 40,000 people, all like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, for sure. So you end up, you finish the song, you end the chord, and you're just staring at a lens. Yeah. Right. There's no, and it's like, it's completely fucking empty. It's vapid. It loses all of its soul because you don't get to see the enjoyment that you wanted people to have. So that's also sad, right? Or you say, everybody that says bad shit, they're all fucking haters. They're all jealous. They're all morons with 6 IQ. Yeah. And everybody who agrees with me is right. And then you end up with an ego where... Yeah, you end up basically becoming the chatter.
where you've done the same thing, which is like aligned people that like my video, they're the real ones, and anybody with criticism, they're haters. And yeah, in that universe, you become, the very thing you swore to destroy, and that sucks too. Yep.
So it's like there's just no way, if you want to be taken seriously, then if you want to be taken seriously in a YouTube comment, convince every other human being on Earth in existence to be a mature adult. Otherwise, don't expect anybody to give you any respect or to be coherent or
yeah. And I want to this comment is fascinating. Someone in chat said, "We just don't want toxic positivity to affect."
Yeah, I couldn't parse that.
Your opinions, and that to me is like. So the first thing I thought of when I read that message, legitimately while you were talking, I read that, and this is what I thought of. You and me are at a bar, and I want you to try this beer. So I buy it for you. And then you take a sip. And then before you've said anything, my response is, hey, what do you really feel about that beer? I don't want your history of alcohol abuse factoring into your opinions. And you go, I don't have a history of alcohol abuse. And I go, yeah, but there's some of the people in this bar are addicted. They're alcoholics. And I don't want your history of alcohol abuse to affect your opinion. And then you go, what the fuck are we talking about? That's what's happening. When you just show up and you go, I don't want a bad character trait I see in other people affecting your opinion, I don't know how to take you seriously. Because if you really mean we don't want toxic positivity to affect your opinions, it's either because you think I'm toxically positive, in which you probably aren't going to believe my opinion, or you just know that other people are, and you don't want that to affect my opinion, which is just as insane. So it's like, I'm not trying to shit on you, Chatter. I'm just saying, think about what you just said. Like, if you are sad that in this industry, some people, because it does happen, right? Like, that was a big thing that came out of like the Concord thing, was like there was an environment where everybody was just like, yeah, it's great, nothing, and you couldn't say no. And there are obviously streamers that do that, or content, or anybody in any industry, but it's like, we can't start just looking at 100,000 people and say, well, in this group of 100,000 people, these 10 bad traits pop up, and then take them and apply them and assume every one of the 100,000 people exhibits all of those bad traits at all times, and then filter everything every one of those 100,000 people says through the lens of those toxic traits. It's like, either watch enough of my content to get a gist for if I'm toxically positive or not, and then filter my opinion through it, or don't assume that I am. You know what I mean?
But they're not judges.
I find that to be so fascinating.
They're not good enough judges of character to be able to read you over the internet. Or like if they watch the video, they've already come to that conclusion. Yeah. They can watch 10 more hours of your content, and they're not going to suddenly have their fucking mind changed. So
it's true. I hope that picture sticks the next time you think about that. Is I don't have an alcohol problem. You know what I mean? It's like, you don't have to say that you don't want that to filter my opinion. I don't have that problem.
all of this ultimately comes back to that of the limited criticisms that I saw, that I had to stop reading, because the temptation to think this person is just obviously blatantly clearly wrong about a very basic thing.
Yeah,
there's a misunderstanding, and I can correct that. Right there is a downward spiral. I'm blowing people in a back alley for heroin.
Yeah.
If I decide I'm going to do that today, it's just a downward spiral.
Yeah.
Because it's impossible. It's never ending, and 89% of the people can't be reasoned with, or they'll just never respond.
And you want to know,
you'll sit there wondering.
What's funny? If this episode of the podcast is the first one you've ever listened to, I'm going somewhere with this. If this is the first episode of the podcast you'd ever listened to, you would be fair. Like, it wouldn't be crazy for you to assume, wow, these guys are really like against criticism and are defending whatever opinion it was they had last week, let's just be clear that the opinion was you should enjoy what you enjoy, and this is what I think. Right? It's like, it's crazy that we're having this conversation, and the opinion we had wasn't like Stalker 2 never should have been made. The opinion that's on trial here in these comments was, I hope you enjoy it, and if you do, that's great. I'm talking now, and these are the things I don't like about the game. Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, and then like, what do you,
isn't that crazy? Like, oh,
what do you do?
Shoot.
What do you do when you say 2 + 2 = 4, and I'm gonna stick with that, and someone, and by someone I mean the first 3 or 4 comments are, I can't believe
it's not butter.
He hates math because he thinks 2 + 2 = 5.
Yeah.
And it's like, but like the basic premise is wrong, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
We can disagree, and we probably will and do, about the subjective topics that I talked about, whether it's environment or whatever. But just if you were one of those people that either thought it or typed it, I think you're confused. I'll just say that. I think you're confused about what. Yeah. And maybe, you know what? Maybe that's on me. Maybe my communication was bad. I'll go listen. Here's the thing. I'll go back and listen. And you should too. And you figure out if the thing you thought or typed matches. And then I'll also figure out, and I'll come back next week.
Yeah.
And if I communicated differently than I wanted to, and I didn't like say, I need to make myself clear like 7 times, then I'll correct it. Now, I do also want to say, I did give Stalker about another 20 hours or so.
I saw you were playing it yesterday. I was lurking, and your stream title was X out of 10. I'll let you give the score, and it was higher than I thought it would be. So I'm interested if the more you've played,
was it like 5.7?
Yeah.
And unintentionally like 5.7. Like I wasn't actually going for that. I just
it's higher than I thought you would have given it. So I'm curious. I was going to ask you if the score had risen slightly over the 20 hours since.
No, I mean, if anything, I didn't really think of a number or a score beforehand.
Okay. So that was just a meme.
I don't know if it went up or down. I will say that my opinion is completely solidified, to the point where someone had come in and basically said that because I was in the middle of like, ranting about the environment, because I had just been walking around and it was like my point had been proven.
Yeah.
2 or 3 times in a row. And then someone basically said, dude, I find something interesting everywhere I go.
Yeah.
All the time. Like, and he basically, I don't remember exactly what he said, but it was along the lines of like, we just play differently.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, how can I possibly play differently when I visit everything I see and go everywhere? Do you just have like a game facts tutorial walkthrough that you're following that is like the sightseeing tour through all the cool things? And I went, okay, we're going to go to the next point of interest I see.
Yep.
And I walked, and it was like an open field with like it was like a wagon kind of weird thing with nothing there. An open field with like a wagon, and it was like, you think there'd be a box or a crate, or there would be some event that would happen or whatever. And it's like, why put this here?
Yeah.
I know. I get it. Like, I walk away from that going, okay, it's just environmental set dressing. And I also get that this isn't Skyrim.
Yeah.
But one of the things that makes a game like Skyrim or Fallout or, whatever, Red Dead Redemption, so fantastic is that if you're walking through the woods, right, and there's a broken down barn, there's something there.
Yeah.
Because someone took 4 hours to put it there.
Yeah.
And to like, this is going to be a thing, whether it's just you're going to get accosted by bandits, whether there's hidden treasure, whether there's some lore in a book, whether it's
or like
whatever,
environmental storytelling, a skeleton with a shotgun in one hand, and you're like, whoa, what happened here? Yeah.
and then a bear comes in. You know what I mean? Like any of those things. There's everything has a purpose.
Yeah.
It's not just there for what to me feels like filler.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then I was like, okay, we're 0 for 1. And then I go walking for a little bit, and it's a solid 5 minutes of nothing until I end up back in that area that I talked about last week, where it was like there was like a psychic thing going on, and the like guys were spawning, and I stood there and I fought them for maybe 10 minutes, and I'm like, I want to try and see if I kill 5 waves, the boss comes out or something, right? Nothing happened. So then I went all around. Everywhere there's a fucking peninsula. I went up on the peninsula, walked around. It took me fucking 10 minutes. I tried to find a cave. I was trying to find if there was a controller somewhere around. Nothing. So it was like more of my time and ammo and resources being wasted.
Yep.
Then I see a barn. I walk towards the barn, and I start to have psychic effects. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now the barn, it has a door, but the door, you can just tell it's like not interactable. There's like shit in front of it. So I'm like, okay, where's the alternate way in? There's 2 alternate ways in, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's either the roof or something, the window, right? Or there's a hole in the floor and there's like a cave entrance somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I looked everywhere, no cave entrance. So the whole while I'm like, getting all fucked up by the psychic stuff. I've got like 2 psi blocker that lasts 60 seconds, which is just enough time to like shoot 2 zombies, heal once, and then now your psi blocker's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Now there was like an awning with like some boxes in the back where you like normally like hay bales would be there or whatever, right? With a window above it. With nothing, just no glass, nothing, wide open. I'm like, clearly that's the way in.
Yeah.
Now, I like dropped all the shit to make sure I wasn't overweight, whatever. And I was like MLG crouch jumping, and there was like, it was effectively like an invisible wall.
Yeah.
Now I ended up, I think, just like reloading the save. Because I spent all this time there, my psychic effects were all fucked up. I spent all my ammo shooting all the hallucinations, and it was like, I just wasted time and resources. All the while, I'm like looking, I'm like, hey, Chad, are you still here? Because it's been 45 minutes and nothing has happened other than annoyance and bullshit.
Yeah.
I come back, and then I managed to get up onto like the fence, and I do like a running fucking like CSGO B-hop strafe jump and land on the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I jumped through the window, and this was the most incredible interaction I had in the whole game. There was a zombie there with a box on his head, like Snake from fucking NGS or something, just in the corner, just going, and it was like, what the fuck? It was like really goofy, and I killed him, and then I looked around, and there was nothing. And I couldn't get out. I couldn't get out. There was like the crates and whatever, and it was like almost fucking impossible. Maybe there's some special jump. Like I've speed ran Super Mario 64.
Yeah.
Don't fucking at me about not having like the skills to be able to like jump and crouch. I couldn't get out, so I just reloaded.
So there was no loot. The zombie didn't have any like purpose. The box zombie.
There's an 8% chance that the box wasn't even supposed to be on him.
Yeah.
That it was just like some shit went flying. Like maybe I kicked the box when I was. It probably was a gag. But even so, it's like, but where are the psychic effects coming from? I can't find a cave.
Yeah.
If I look around for 10 minutes and I'm like not brain dead, I can play through complicated puzzle games. And I can't find the entrance, and you don't give me like a clue or something.
Yeah.
It's just, in my opinion, that's just bad game design. You just wasted my time. You have no respect for my fucking time.
Oh
when you
my
give me this
God.
bullshit, you don't give me the tools to overcome any of the challenges. And
That's
again,
crazy.
this isn't like skill issue.
Yeah.
Because I'd love to see you make that jump, Timmy. You fucking make that jump. Good luck. But and then I went to like 2 other places. Oh, okay. And then the last thing. And then we'll take a quick break. But I'm like, okay, this is the last chance the game has. It's 0 for 4.
Uh-huh.
And there's like this one of those big brick buildings where like sometimes there's like guys in sniper towers, you know what I mean? It's like a compound. And I walk in and there's a long building. And I go over and there's like garage doors, but they're like uninteractable. Okay. I go around the corner. There's a metal door that's just a JPEG. You can tell it's uninteractable. I go walking around it. I'm like, there's another door that looks like it's interactable, but I like go and look at it and it's like locked.
Okay.
I'm like, okay. And then
Stalker, there's an emission coming.
Now apparently this area is like a puzzle. It's a scripted emission.
Oh,
that's what I've been told. That's what I've been told.
As soon as you go into that area, an emission will start.
After 30 seconds, which is enough time to walk your fat, overweight ass around one and a half times. Now, I wouldn't have even seen this, and this would have been my bad.
Yeah.
But I wish the chatter didn't point it out. Hey, there was a button there. There's a tiny little button where the locked door was.
Okay.
So I'm like, ugh. I was like, I walked around the building like 3 times. Like, I guess I missed the button. Make it blinking light or something, right? Fuck. And I go over and there's no way to interact with it. It's just grayed out. Oh, apparently the power needs to get turned on. The emission comes. It's like, get in the building, and it's that building.
Yeah.
Or, so I die to the emission. Reload the save. I get there again.
Yep.
Instantly go back. Okay, button. I go and I see there's like a tower. So I go running over, climb the fucking dumb ladder, hop over the electrical nonsense, whatever. And there's one of those switches, except it's uninteractable. I die to the emission again. I reload the save. And now this is like a big area. There are like multiple of these long buildings. There's small little huts. There's little shacks. There's towers. There's all these little disparate things. I found another switch, uninteractable.
Oof.
So you gave me approximately 18 seconds to search 4,000 square yards with no hint as to where there's probably one of those like circuit breaker fuses or whatever somewhere. But I walk through 2 or 3 of the buildings. I don't find anything, and I die to the emission a couple more times. And it's like, you can say skill issue. That's fine. Your opinion is meaningless to me. Because you've never thought for yourself a moment in your life. You never empathized with another human being. And you have so high of an opinion of yourself as a gamer. One day it's going to come crashing down. You're going to realize, maybe when you're 36, you'll fucking realize how irrelevant your personal opinion is about a thing. And how you're just projecting, like when you watch Shroud, you're projecting that's you onto me.
Yeah.
Okay?
And be honest, did you, not you, the chatter, I'm talking to Timmy the chatter, did you just Google it when you got there? Like you say skill issue, but it's you either watch someone on stream figure it out for 45 minutes or you Googled it when you got there.
Or they walked into the garage number 7.
Turned right,
found the thing and was like, I wonder what this is for. And then it's not like, because there are things I solved without even knowing they were puzzles. I just got lucky.
Walk into the right place at the right time for sure.
Now, I also don't know if this is like a scripted thing or not, but there was a thing that... Remember, I think I talked about Uneventful and how he died like 50 times to the Chimera. I got to that point in the game. I'm like... I don't remember exactly what happened, but it was like the final portion of like some swamp area. Okay. And it was like, all of a sudden I hear the growling and I'm like, oh fuck, that's the Chimera. And I turn and I see like one of the building little shack things that I saw Uneventful like go and hide in to try to get away from it. I'm like, oh, this is that area.
Yep.
And then nothing ever happened. He never came. But then something happened and I ended up I think I got like soft locked and had to reload the game.
Oh, damn.
Then I end up back in the area, but I'm just, like 7 pixels to the left of where I was before. And all of a sudden, bloop, I get a Steam
achievement
for, wow, the Chimera made you run like a girl or whatever. And it was like, now a bunch of people said they had the same experience. So maybe this was ironic and on purpose, but about 15 seconds later, the Chimera attacked. So I don't know if that was like
foreshadowing.
Scared you.
Yeah.
Like, or if now it's possible, but here's the thing: there's been no indication that the developers are like that ironic and clever and snarky, other than maybe the box thing, which again I'm still not sure. It seems just as likely with all the other bullshit in the game that they have an achievement for you end up in the zone of the
Chimera,
the guy, and then you walk out of the zone and it assumes you ran away, you got away from it, or something like that. But then so that happened, and all of a sudden it was like I turn, he hits me, I'm on the ground, I'm in the animation, he hits me again, I die. I'm like, fucking cool. Like, now I know that I'm just hard locked in this thing. And it's like, not even. Yeah. So I respawn again and I just run to the cabin and I don't see him again. And I just skip it. And that ended up being what I did for like 2 or 3 hours. It was like, oh, okay. The meta in this game is just to fucking avoid all the things. Why am I carrying a gun? What's the point of the grenades if I'm not gonna shoot the things? If I'm just supposed, then it's boring. I'd rather play fucking Getting Over It with Ben and Foddy if I'm gonna struggle to climb shit, right?
Yeah.
Because at least that's an ironic, clever, and well-designed torture session that cost exactly 1/10 of the price of Stalker and gets my blood pressure just as high.
Damn.
So. Again, you're fine. If you like the game, you're not wrong. Totally subjective. Just don't tell me pizza rolls are fine dining.
Damn. Well, listen, we had to guarantee that the comment section of this video was going to equally be as fun. So I think we've secured that. I am sad, like, you know what I mean? Because I enjoyed I still have only played 10 hours. But
I got to the part that everyone said, this is when it gets good. It's amazing. And it was a fucking garbage fever dream. So I'm done. I'm just done. I'll play the DLC or I'll play the mod.
Yeah, the mod pack in like a year.
Like 3 years from now.
Yeah.
After Starfield's good.
Yeah. Damn. Well, I don't have any updated Stalker opinions. I've seen some. I think basically, I think more people align with more of your opinion. I think there is, and even like by their own admission, a lot of people who are like, dude, I love this game. I love this franchise. And the things it does well, it does really well. It feels like an old soccer game. But even most people that were like super excited for it, diehard soccer fans, I've been like watching the reviews on YouTube, and like a lot of them are like, oh man, some of the dialogue is like, and the lore is like not as well displayed. The looting really doesn't feel rewarding. Like a lot of those things you brought up, they're like, man, I'm having a great time, but these things were pretty disappointing compared to the experience we used to get. So I think the Venn diagram is a lot. There's just a lot of emotional connection to that story and that world, and you don't have that. And so I actually do think a lot of the bigger points are felt by a lot of the people who, not the fandom, but like the people who are like playing and honest with themselves and enjoying the experience, but can look at it critically. I think there is a lot of overlap there. Now, there is some other stuff I want to get to, but before we do, I do want to take a quick second and thank the first sponsor of this episode, and that is Turtle Beach. You know them, you love them, OGs in the gaming space. and they sent us their Stealth 700 headset to check out. If you're looking for a new headset, the Stealth 700 is crazy. It is insanely comfortable, like a full memory foam mattress on each ear. You got some memory foam up top to help, prevent that gamer dent, which is always nice. The sound quality is great. It's Bluetooth. The battery is insane. It's up to 80 hours of continuous use on a single charge. I always bring this up because I like the fact that it's basically got a completely hidden microphone. If you're in a situation where you need a microphone and you don't have your XLR mic, if you're taking it somewhere or whatever, boom, you flip it down, you got the mic built in. But if you don't need it, it doesn't look like a freaking call center headset. You pop it up and you genuinely wouldn't even know that it's there. And so the build quality is great. Turtle Beach has obviously been in the business for a long time, making some of the most quintessential like gaming accessories. Yeah.
It's funny you said the whole call center thing because my headphones, this is always the best endorsement of any product is when my wife steals my shit. Because something happened with her headphones. She works from home and I come in the other day and she's wearing my goddamn headphones and she's like, they're so comfortable. And apparently her coworkers were saying how the mic that she has now that she's using with the headphones, it's better. It's like, oh, your mic, did you get a new mic? Your mic's way better than it was before.
Dang.
So, I mean, listen,
that's
all I can say is that
as good of an endorsement, as you can get.
Yeah, because I mean, you sit your wife down in like a Racer X chair and she's like, what is this, right? But they have very discerning specific quality standards that us gamers don't have. So
for sure.
So, yeah.
So they're awesome. They also have a really cool thing. It's the industry's first ever cross-play dual wireless transmitter system. You get 2 USBs in the box. You can plug it into 2 things, 2 PCs, PC console, 2 consoles, and you can switch back and forth instantly. So you don't got to go fishing in the back of your PC or the back of your TV stand, the back of your console or whatever for the USB. You can have it plugged into 2 places, swap super easily. And beyond the Stealth 700s, Turtle Beach doesn't just do headsets. I mean, I got the website up right here. They have controllers, like modded controllers, the keyboards, mice, flight sim stuff, race sim stuff, all sorts of accessories and parts, and they're all freaking phenomenal. So you can get the ultimate immersive gaming experience with Turtle Beach today for a limited time. Head to turtlebeach.com and use code POGCAST for 10% off your entire order. That is 10% off your order at turtlebeach.com with promo code POGCAST. Don't delay. Get the perfect holiday gift now. Thank you to Turtle Beach for sponsoring this episode. Bada bing boom bow. So Stalker, in other gaming news, Delta Force finally came out. It came out yesterday, last night, today. I am very excited.
Yeah, but how much? Like, tell me what you really think.
Be honest, Jesse. Be honest.
Well, tell me after the podcast what you really think.
Oh my god!
In private, when the cameras are
our second sponsor, Delta. No, I'm just kidding. I wish though. Yeah. That's the thing is I'm self-aware enough to know. I wish. I have been having an absolute blast, and like, it's so funny when like, because I'm so connected to the Tarkov audience now. What I've been telling people is like, it's like, I'm in a, what's the word? I'm in like a beneficial, like a cool, like I can recognize how cool it is. I'm in a cool position that people like want my opinion. That like there are people who like, hey, this guy's played a bunch of Tarkov. He was the first video I saw when I started playing Tarkov. So they come to me for an opinion, and I'm having a hard time because I don't know how to communicate to people that it's like, if you want this game to be Tarkov, you will not like it. And it is why I like it so much. And that's like a weird power triangle where people are like, he's having so much fun, like he's enjoying it, but it looks like something I don't want because I want a Tarkov competitor.
Yeah.
And then when I ask him, he's like, oh yeah. Like, so it's this weird thing. It's like, I am so tired, you know what I mean, of Tarkov. like at first, when I first saw this game, I had the same knee-jerk reaction everybody did in the Tarkov space, which is the kind of nose up, like, oh, it'll never be Tarkov. And slowly over the past few months, I've been like, oh my God, but that's why it's great. It's not Tarkov, for the love of God. And so this game really does separate itself from that, but it creates this weird thing where I'm having a lot of people come and be like, yo, this looks like ass. And I'm like, dude, that is totally fine. Like, it is not for you. I get it. You wanted, the Tarkov player's opinion of this, but what you're getting is the old, jaded Tarkov grandpa's opinion of this, and it's that it's awesome. You know what I mean? So it's been an interesting thing. It's so I'll like see a mechanic, and I'll have this split opinion where I like look at I'll see something in game and I'll be like, this is awesome. And I don't want to look at chat because I know they're going to be like, that's lame. That's just like Call of Duty or whatever. But I'm like enjoying lapping it all up and having something that's different. But I know that like, and I'm always right. So it's funny, but I've been thoroughly enjoying it. It's got like one of the things that kind of surprised, it's got basically its own self-contained like Counter-Strike skin system where like,
okay.
Yeah, these aren't skins to be sold on the Steam marketplace for money. Like, there's freaking Counter-Strike skins that are valued at like $700,000.
Yeah.
But it's all in the game where you can get the Mando brick, which the Mando brick mechanic is one of my favorite things. I wish Tarkov would do something like this. Obviously, it's not a Mando brick for skins, but it's a rare event that happens. That's a huge catalyst for combat and PvP, and you can avoid it if you want. You can do it. And if you get a Mando brick, when you decode them, you get a skin. It's almost like a box freaking in CSGO. And you have like, it literally shows you the chances. Like this season's like Giga Rare skin is like 0.03% chance to pull it out of a Mando brick or whatever.
That's
yeah.
Once you see Diablo 2 drop rates for things,
yeah, dude, I believe it. I believe it.
7,000. Yeah, it's 0.3%. It's like, that's not bad.
Yeah. And when you pull a skin from a Mando brick, they're serialized. So it shows you like the number, like the first one made, the second one made. It has a rarity, like it can be an uncommon or a rare version of that skin. And it has a wear, a quality.
Yeah.
So
God, I hate that.
Yeah. So
I hate that because what you end up with is like the Giga Rare whatever thing, but it's like rusty. It's like, come on, really? Yeah. I have a dragon lore that's 82% float or whatever the fuck.
Yes. And then, so you get your skin, but the thing is the market is in game where you can sell those skins. And like the market is just spooling up. So like people are selling some for ridiculous amounts or selling some for super cheap, not realizing they have something rare. Like the whole market is obviously just coming online. The game's been out for 14 hours, but you can sell that and you can sell it for in-game currency. And I think it is kind of confusing. You're selling it for like the premium currency of the game. So like, you can buy the battle pass for real money. You can buy Delta coins with real money and you can use that to buy the battle pass or skins. Or if you got a Mando brick and got lucky, you could sell your skin for like 10,000 Delta coins and then buy the season pass with those coins for the next 6 years and never spend another dime. So it's like you can't sell it for real money, but the fact that there are ways like that to get the premium currency in the game without just buying it, I think it's kind of cool because some people don't care about the skins, and obviously some people really do and are going to go crazy for them. Or you can use they do like skin packs, and you can do the same thing. You can use that premium currency to like buy those, so you can do it without the money. So it's going to be interesting to see how that like populates, because the thing is like the skins people have to want to pay for the skins. Like that's a market.
They have to be good skins.
Yeah, a market, or even, good is relative. They have to be desirable skins, right? Like the market needs.
That's a better way.
The market needs people wanting to buy the things, or else a year from now, the Delta Force market is just going to be flooded with like one Delta coin skins, and nobody cares. So it'll be interesting to see how that comes online. I will say the biggest disappointment of the Delta Force launch has been like kind of how the battle pass works. So it's like, on one hand, it's kind of nice because it's a free game. So, and they weren't like hiding the fact that there was going to be a season pass and battle pass, whatever. And everybody kind of expected it because it's freaking free. And they kept saying there's going to be no pay to win. You're not going to be able to buy currency or gear. So we're like, they have to make money. There's going to be tons of skins, like the assumption. And the battle pass is cool because it's very cheap compared to other games. Like the Call of Duty battle pass, I think I don't know exactly how much it is. It's more expensive than this, and Call of Duty is a $70 game. But the battle pass for Delta Force is $10 if you want the battle pass for both modes, or $6 if you just want the battle pass for like the extraction shooter mode. Or if you just want it for the battlefield mode, you can just pay the $6 for it, or $6.90. It's like $7. So that's a pretty good deal. And the battle pass has 150 tiers. So there's like a lot of content to grind through. Velian today bought the battle pass and then bought premium currency to like skip levels. That's apparently like a super common thing in battle passes. You can like pay to like skip 10 levels, and then you just pay that again and again. And he just bought the battle pass and then sat there and bought his way to as far as he could go down the battle pass, which I thought was ridiculous, but it was valuable because what it showed us was that once you start going up the battle pass, like every second or third tier level in the battle pass is like an ammo crate or an armor crate where you like get gear. So immediately we were like, oof, that doesn't really pass the smell test on this whole, it's not pay to win. You're not able to buy gear. Because so it's like then the pay to win conversation, which once again comes up every season, every time there's any game, started going rampant, which is understandable, right? Because you can spend real money and get a shit ton of in-game gear. You can do that. You're not buying the in-game currency, and you're not buying, I guess, like the gear off the market, but you're speeding through the battle pass and getting a bunch of gear in return if you want to. So that was immediately like that kind of sucks. I don't like that. And then we've talked about, even before, we've talked about like the spectrum of pay to win, where like Tarkov's was, you get a bunch of gear right off the rip if you bought Edge of Darkness and the secure container. And then that was always the clash on if that was pay to win or not, because you can't like repeatedly buy stuff, right? It's just like, that's the one thing. Delta Force is definitely going to sit in the middle because you can buy all those tiers, but at that point, your money is no longer any good. You've bought through the battle pass. Now you can't buy any more gear. Right? Yeah. And all that gear I'm just going to get slower because I didn't buy my way through. And the other point is you're not buying anything I can't also get because the flea market is open. So like he got a bunch of good ammo, but I can just go to the flea market and buy that ammo, right? But you're definitely paying money for gear. And then farther down the spectrum is something like Arena Breakout, which to me, once again, I'm not happy about the way that the Battle Pass is. I think it's way more pay to win than I wanted it to be. But a big line for me is repeatability. In Arena Breakout, anytime I want, I can swipe my credit card and get 1 million more coins or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And just buy, like, it's an infinite process. So
there's no stealing.
Yeah, exactly. So that was like a big thing that kind of stirred up quite a bit of a stink when people did. I was actually genuinely glad Valiant did it because I'm not the guy that buys the Battle Pass and then buys my way through it. I buy the Battle Pass because I want a reason to like grind a game and like grind through
it's another XP bar to push forward.
Exactly. So I didn't even think to look if you could buy the tiers. So I was actually kind of glad he did, because I was like, oh shit, like you actually can get a whole bunch of gear with money right off the rip. So that was interesting. So I hate it. Like I hate that, everything about that.
Yeah.
But I hate more than I hate that the repeatability aspect. And so I'm glad at least that that's not in there, that I actually can't buy currency and then buy a gear literally whenever I want. And what's the other interesting thing about Delta Force is that past this season, I don't know if it'll matter that much, because Delta Force isn't going to wipe. They're going to go almost prestige mode, where they are going to allow you to wipe your character for rewards if you want to. So it's basically prestige, but they won't be any force like community wipes. So I'm thinking like the next season, like does that make sense what I'm trying to say? Like then when the next season's battle pass comes out, most people that are playing the game are going to have an economy. Like they're going to have $10 million in their bank account. They're going to have a bunch of gear. So if the new battle pass season comes out and people buy their way through it, like I feel like right now it's at its worst because he has gold ammo and I have nothing because the game just came out yesterday. But next season, everybody's going to have purple ammo and armor and stuff anyway. So you buying your way through the battle pass just to get a little bit more, I feel like is less of a power imbalance than if they wiped every season and every season you could buy your way ahead. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess then like what part of what's interesting about Tarkov's like wipe schedule, right, is that you start off, it's almost like 0 to hero on a macro scale, right? Yes. The early wipe is the funnest, right? Because so if Tarkov didn't wipe, it would just get super old and boring because you're sick of using perfect meta, high end, whatever. You're kind of like yearning for everybody to have like Vepers with iron sights again. Is there any mechanic like that built into this?
So
that'll be fascinating to see if that just dies
from a high level. From a high level view, I hate how Arena Breakout and Delta Force do their flea market. There is no early wipe or late wipe in either one of those games. Someone in Hambino's chat, a trusted source, found the most expensive item in the game and one of the rarest items in the game. It's called the Heart of Africa, and it's a diamond you can find in a safe with like 0.000.
Not the Heart of Mars?
Not the Heart of Mars. And it's...
Do you remember that?
No.
Oh. Someone was like, bro, I went back and watched an old clip from the podcast, and you were talking about the Heart of Mars. It's the worst quest in Starfield.
Oh,
and they were like, that was the funniest conversation ever.
Yes. Okay.
That was yesterday. So I just remembered.
Okay.
Sorry. Continue.
And the Heart of Africa sells for like $20 million or whatever. So it's like that guy's wipe is like early wipe is over because now he can buy, the best stuff in the game permanently. And so the fact that the way Delta Force and Arena Breakout works is that their flea market is accessible at level 3. And you can buy anything off the flea market. It means already that it's not like Tarkov in the sense that there's an early wipe and a mid wipe and a late wipe, because we're already I'm already fighting people with the best gear in the game. So the way that they flip, basically to answer your question, and what's the point in playing in like a month when you get bored, is the seasonal updates. Every 3 months, there's going to be either like a new map or new modes. Basically, they manually adjust the game at a macro scale every few months. There's new operators and they rotate old ones out, and that changes the meta. There's a new map, or they add harder modes to the maps, or they do events on the maps. And so basically, they're at a high level view, very actively turning the dials, pushing the players around and giving them new things to do. And there's always a new battle pass or whatever, as opposed to Tarkov obviously hasn't been. Wait, what's happening? Is my mouse in the way? God damn it.
Yeah, your cursor.
God damn it.
I didn't want to interrupt the story.
I'm trying to be better about that. I'm sorry. What was I saying? Oh, as opposed to Tarkov's attempt to set the players loose and let there be like a on its own macro level flow from beginning, middle to end wipe. So that's the answer. Some people are going to love it. Once again, some people are going to love it. Some people are going to hate it. I would like it to be a different way. I hate how the flea markets work in this game, but I knew it was going to be that way very early on. So I was like, well, it is how it is. But so it's interesting. The pay to win thing. It is very much so kind of like the same as many people before, where they're like, we were very careful with our words. We said you were never going to be able to buy in-game currency. And it's like, yeah, you got us again. Like it is definitely more pay to win than I want it to be because of how much you can power through the battle pass and because the battle pass gives so much gear. I just thought the battle pass was going to be exclusively cosmetics. But it is what it is. And I think it will matter less as time goes on because there won't be this big giant reset. And so the power imbalance of buying through the battle pass will never be greater than it is right now. It'll only mean less as time goes on. So it'll be interesting to see. But it kind of sucks. It kind of sucks.
I always wonder with these games if there's going to be like the Diablo 3 whales where it's like he spent $60,000 on like that kind of
thing. I'm sure because you can right now spend $5,000 on the Delta coins and just go on and buy those like S-tier rare ultra skins. Like there's only a few of them, but they're starting to pop up on the market because of how many people are playing. So like if you want to just load your wallet up and get every season's like highest rank, highest float, rarest skin, you could. And so I do think that there will be those whales. I don't think it'll be as to the extent as maybe some like Diablo and some of those other games, but it'll happen for sure.
Yeah.
It'll happen for sure. But so here's the thing. We knew that they were going to monetize the shit out of the game because it's a free to play game. And we probably knew to not wholly trust their whole like, it's not going to be pay to win. But what I do like is how many different avenues there are. There are genuinely several different avenues to earn those currencies in the game. And I think every single skin that's in the shop for real money is purchasable with those in-game currencies that you got in the game. So I don't think anything is locked behind. You have to pay real money for this. It's the only way. So I like that. Like if we're going to go this route that we hate, at least there's an option. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it sounds like it's similar-ish in many ways to the only other game I think that I have experience with that's similar, which is Hearthstone, which is like you can totally get a meta deck free to play. It's just going to take you a year.
Yeah.
Or I can spend $60, buy a shit ton of packs, open up 150 packs, and 3 of the packs have the cards I need. All of the rest of it is just like convert to dust, and and basically just like en masse buy the deck. But there is a path to get there. Yeah. If you have enough duplicates of all the common cards and you turn them into, each one of them turns them into 5 or 10 fucking dust. It's only 1,600 to make one legendary, and you just need like 18 legendaries in your deck. So, I'll see you in fucking October.
And what's nice is these are cosmetics. So most people don't want all of them. So it's like you can buy your way to having all the cosmetics.
How many pairs of pants do you really need when you can only wear one at a time?
Exactly. But that's what I'm saying. So it's even less than the Hearthstone thing because it's like these cosmetics have no bearing on the gameplay. So you just play the game like you normally do and then farm up for the one cosmetic this season that you like. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to have all of them. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm not defending it. I am unhappy with how the gear side, I guess the cosmetic side, I'll defend because I don't care about the cosmetic side. The gear side, I'm very unhappy with, but it's, what are you going to do? So as far as like gameplay goes, we we've been having a blast, dude. Every PMC we're running into is a real human, which is great because they took away the bots. That like even I didn't realize how much that was dragging my experience down last time. Like we were playing, dude, and there's so much PvP. There were like 6 raids in a row where we fought 5 3-man squads and like came out on top and was like leaving. Like it, dude, it's action packed. The PvP is fun. I love, like, this is a great example of the, it's not Tarkov, but that's why I like it, is whenever you lose all your health, you go down, like down but not out state.
Yeah.
And you can get rezzed. If somebody thirsts you and you go full down, you get 1 res. Meaning if your teammate clutches the kill, he can res you from full down, but only once. So if you go down again,
can you spectate while you're down, or what do you see?
You can spectate. Yeah, if you're down but not out, you're looking through your eyes, and then if you go full thirsted, you can spectate. So you get 1 moment, you get 1 chance, you get rezzed, and from that point, if you go down and get thirsted again, you're done. You can spectate or you're back to the lobby, but you are GG's, and that makes combat so much more fun because there's just the subconscious monkey brain where you get a little bit more aggressive because every fight isn't, I have to go back to my, like, you know what I mean? It's how much time do we talked about this so many times. How much time do you spend making a kit, doing a thing? So it's like, we've gotten into a bunch of spawn fights where the spawns are really close, but it just, the amount of times today, 1 or 2 of our team went full down and the third clutched it, and his clutch benefits the whole squad, not just him.
Yeah.
It feels so sick. The amount of times, like, if
that's
you're
gonna make the adrenaline times 2, right? Because now it's
literally when you're in a 3-man squad in Tarkov and you roll up against another squad and those squad kill you and your buddy and your one dude is left alive. When he goes, I wiped them all, you go, well, freaking good for you.
Cool.
Ditch my stuff.
Cool, man.
Exactly. But in this game, we're all spectating and we're like, let's go. And then he reses us all. We get up and we go. And then now every fight we get into is a little bit more intense because now this is our last life, right? If you got down and came back up. So I like it. I like it a lot. And the only other thing I'll say on Delta Force, and we can move on, is the dude, once again, I don't know too much about what's happening, but based on chat, apparently it's getting review bombed on Steam, which, go figure, right? That happens like every time. And I haven't read a single Steam review, so if you're a listener, please don't get mad at me if I'm wrong. But I've been asked, Veritas, genuinely no less than 50 times today, Jesse, the internet is saying that this game is Chinese spyware. Should I avoid downloading this? And I was like, at first I was like, what are you talking about? And then very quickly I realized they were like, yeah, all the Steam reviews are saying that this game is Chinese spyware and I shouldn't download it because it has kernel level anti-cheat. And I went, oh no. So it's happening again. A whole new audience of people are being bullied by this kernel level anti-cheat. And they are, it's the Valorant thing all over again. And it's dude, I was like, oh no, bro.
You should just be like, bro, what does corn have to do with this game at all? I don't understand it. Can you explain to me what kernel level means? Right? It must have to do with corn or something, right? Like, I don't. Fuck.
Bro.
Off.
I was like, not again.
Yeah, dude. I'm sponsored by the fucking CCP, bro. Like, hashtag ad. Just put hashtag ad. Thanks to the Communist Party of China or whatever for fucking sponsoring this stream. They're giving me 10% of the data they collect. Thanks for your social, idiot.
Bro. It's I don't know. Now, once again, I don't know if this is all unfounded gibberish or I will give the benefit of the doubt. There very well may be like one or two legitimate concerns that aren't like, oh my God, the Chinese are taking over my computer, but like, hey, why does it work this way? I'm a software engineer, and like that's a little weird. That then snowballed into kernel level bad. But all I know is where we've arrived is there. People are like, kernel level anti-cheat, man, they're friggin' taking my porn folder. What? And it's like, so there may be
people are going to ask JesseKazam about the Chinese. They're not going to go to the FBI website, right? The foreign entity is spying on. Fuck off.
So, like I said, there may be some weird things about the entity. There may be a legitimate concern, but what has happened is the internet has happened, and it has spiraled into just like 100 people popping into chat and just regurgitating that last line. Hey, I heard it's Chinese spyware. It's got kernel level anti-cheat. Should I be worried? And I'm just like, oh my God. And then I blow their brains off because so often these people are just now hearing the term kernel level anti-cheat for the first time. And so I just blow their brains when I'm like, if you have Tarkov installed, you already have kernel level anti-cheat. And they're like, oh no, it's too late.
Are you more scared of Russia or China? Be honest.
Yeah.
Like that's what you should ask them, and then just step away and
never say anything ever again.
And just watch chat implode.
That would be horrendous.
Just so hit X on the chat preview and OBS.
Oh,
and of course we're already getting answers as if like as if that was
as
actually
if that's a real question. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So the that just like but what was funny was that it felt like in a fantasy game where you run across the dragon again a couple 100 hours later and you go, oh, I remember how to beat this. You know what I mean? It's like, I've had these conversations before. Like, I know how to handle this. It's just so funny. So I don't know, man. It's pretty crazy. But we got some other gaming news to talk about. That's Delta Force. I am loving it. I am very excited. It's not the Jesus game that will save us from the future. It's just a super fun extraction shooter game that I love. But
you're getting sweaty playing it.
I'm getting so sweaty, which is a perfect segue to the second sponsor of the podcast episode this week, and that is Mando. Yes, tip your hat. The holidays are around the corner. That means lights, gifts, and get-togethers. And if you are a sweaty person like me, then you need some Mando deodorant to make you smell good. Mando has got a whole suite of products to get you smelling your absolute best. And one of my favorite things about Mando is the variety of things that they offer for any type of person. They've got their deodorant sticks, traditional. You can put them anywhere. Full body deodorant. I mean, anywhere. They've got tubes of like deodorant lotion. They've got spray bottles. Whatever you want, however you want to smell good, they got you covered. And boy, do they smell good.
Yeah, man. I recently had this epiphany. I don't know how I made 35 and a half years into my life without ever experiencing something that happened. It started like 6 months ago. Where all of a sudden, all my t-shirts, I'd get them out of the dryer, and it was like chalk.
Yeah.
And it was like, I don't know. I'm like, did you change the detergent? I'm like, what's going on? And then, of course, I Google it, and everybody's like, oh, yeah, it's the aluminum. It's the aluminum zircon or blah, 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 whatever chemical that reacts. And then when we got Mando, the deodorant is aluminum free, and the problem solved.
Happening. Boom.
Now I'm not janking up all my t-shirts.
Yep.
By being a sweaty gamer troll in my basement. And they smell good. My wife this morning. Yep. I'm not lying. This is not a paid shill thing. This morning, and it wasn't my breath, lying next to me, in my arm, and she's like, "You smell good."
Yeah, like, hell yeah, baby. That's called bourbon leather.
This one was Mount Fuji.
Okay, dude, Mount Fuji is goated too. Bourbon leather's my favorite. Mount Fuji is good. They got Clover Woods, Pro Sport, and once again, in the spirit of choice, they also have unscented. So if you like to rock cologne or something like that, you can prevent yourself from smelling bad and use the unscented, and then use the cologne or whatever you got going on. Mando was created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal BO was misdiagnosed and mistreated. Their whole body deodorant will keep you smelling good for up to 72 hours. And once again, you can put it anywhere. Your pits, your package, anywhere in between. Your butt crack, wherever you want to put it, wherever you want to smell good. It's great. And they have all sorts of stuff. Well, they got wipes. They got soap. They got body wash. They got you covered head to toe, which is perfect because they are promoting their Mando starter pack. Perfect for new customers or to secure some last minute stocking stuffers. And we've got a code to get you hooked. My favorite whole body deodorant. You can get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code, which ends up being over 40% off on the starter pack because it's already discount by using code POGCAST at shopmando.com. That's shopmando.com. And use code POGCAST. You can support our show and tell them we sent you. Don't let the meat sweats get you this holiday season. Your friends and family will thank you. Thank you to Mando for sponsoring this episode.
Don't get the meat sweats.
The meat sweats, bro.
Speaking of meat sweats, this is a completely not related at all segment. This isn't like beef jerky or anything.
Yeah.
I have a thing that I'm sending to you that you can't open until it's live on the podcast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got a little thing. Got a little something.
Speaking of meat sweats.
Yeah, it's nothing to do with
Okay.
nothing to do with it's a yeah. It's
I'm so excited.
I thought of it. It's nothing special, but
It's a Rolex.
but I'm gonna it's a salami in a jock strap. No, let's keep my fantasies out of this, okay? We don't kink shame here. But yeah, I'm gonna send it the moment I decide I want to leave my house.
Fair. So sometime in like February or March.
Yeah, March. I don't know. It just snowed, so
Yeah, better wait till summer.
But yeah, don't open it
Okay.
until the
Okay.
podcast. It's dumb, but
I'm so
it'll get a
excited.
giggle. Speaking of a giggle, though, I have to tell you, I played after ranting about good game design. I like pulled up a ton of games, and it was like I had to, in order to install and then update Stalker, I had to delete every single kilobyte.
Yeah. It's a big game.
It was a 38 gigabyte fucking update or whatever.
Yeah.
Because they just have to like have 2 copies of it and then like delete one, and then so I had like nothing installed, and I'm like, if I'm gonna install Red Dead Redemption, I'll talk to you guys in 2 hours. You know what I mean? But Inscription was a pretty small install. You came by while I was playing.
Yeah.
I was in like Act 4 of Inscription. Just playing this game again. It's just there's even like more I'm like picking up on. It's just Daniel Mullins. I want to get him on the goddamn podcast.
That'd be so sick.
He is just a genius. I saw something that I thought someone tweeted it, and I don't know if the date might have been like 2021 and I just didn't notice, but I saw something that was like Daniel Mullins made this game in 48 hours.
Oh yeah.
Come check it out.
Okay.
Now, maybe I read it and thought it was like 48 hours ago or something, but I don't even think it's like not even on Steam. You have to like go to his website and like just download the fucking .exe, which is already like, I'm like, this is some ARG for like, it's gonna, because half of the shit that you see in half of his games is like giving access to your file system.
Yeah.
And like, not long ago, I was wagering files on my computer, and the amount of damage I was doing depended on the size and age of the file. While I was fighting my Steam friends.
Oh man.
So this game is called Boba. Okay.
Boba.
Free game on his website. I installed it. Now, let me give you a sense. He made this in one of those, like, I don't know if you've ever heard of like a game jam. Where it's like a bunch of nerdy developers, get together at kind of like a conference kind of setting, and it's like there's some challenge or like topic or theme or whatever, where it's like we're all just gonna like get in a room and bust out in a couple of days a game and like submit it, and sometimes you like compete for little mini awards. Okay. They do it annually. So he did this in 48 hours. I'm gonna show you the UI. Okay, let's see.
Okay.
Now, obviously, we're not talking like fucking. This isn't Red Dead Redemption here. It's a 48-hour thing.
No
right?
Stalker 2.
Yeah, it's no Stalker. I mean, it had better UX though in the menus. So you start off, and it's like, it took a while. It took a while for me to figure out like what's going on. It's what you see to start is just like a person, it says like 15 years and there's a name.
Okay.
And you see them kind of like have almost like that default like breathing kind of, they going up and down a couple pixels kind of thing, right? And then slowly you see it go 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and you start to see like wrinkles sort of develop. They basically are aging in front of you, and you realize like, oh, you're controlling this like a civilization kind of thing, but like in fast forward.
Okay.
Over the course of generations and generations and generations, you're just like King Tut 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. And what you do is you have resources. You start off and your resources are people.
Okay.
There's nothing else there, just people. And there's technologies that you can like research. And you see on the right side, there's a cost associated with it. Okay. And at first it's like you can trade. It's basically like pay 10 people for 50 wheat. And it took me about 10 minutes to realize, oh, I'm paying people. like I'm not paying people.
Yeah. You're paying in people.
Yeah, that is the currency. It's like, oh, okay. So this is a game about slavery. Gotcha. And it's really funky. So on the bottom, there are these decrees. So the first one is basically what you're doing is you're trading resource 1 for resource 2. And what you see obviously on the right side are like, you need to unlock these things.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, if I don't have dollars, but I have people, then it's like, oh, you convert people to dollars, right? It's like sell 5 people, or there's a whole thing where you create a religion, right? And then what you do with the religion, you create an army. When you sacrifice people, that gives your army power. Like might, that becomes like another currency. Then there's prayer as a currency for like faith. You're just going through and all of these different things. The decrees, you unlock them with the technology tree. They have like a cooldown. So you'll press 1 on your keyboard. You're basically like using your mouse and your right hand and like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on like your left hand on the keyboard. So you'll press 1 and there'll be like a 5-second cooldown. So what you're doing very quickly, you realize, okay, so what I'm trying to do is like min-max how much I can get from all the things, balancing what I need with the cooldowns to be just unlock shit in the technology tree.
Yeah. So
it's like you've basically end up hitting like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, click, 1, 2, 3, click. You're just min-maxing. It's not like cookie clicker in a way.
Yeah. I was gonna say it's kind of a cookie clicker vibe.
Totally. And all you see is this weird little UI where you see like little things popping up. You see like almost like these little villages. There's no way to interact with any of this stuff.
Okay.
But I will say it's kind of like Balatro or Balatro or however the fuck you pronounce it. In all of his other games, which is like you click on things and it'll go like and it'll like shake in just the right way. All the sound effects are so satisfying. There's like glitches and shit that happens, and it's just very well done in terms of pressing buttons. It's not like how Windows is to deal with clicking on things. It's not like that. And then all of a sudden, at some point, you unlock the ability to harvest resources.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, what you see is this little purple thing goes up into the sky.
Okay.
Up into the sky. And spoiler alert for people, if you want to go play it, you can probably play it in 20 minutes. It's a short game. And then tab pops up. It just says like Earth. Now, before you got there were like you could start other civilizations.
Okay.
So it's literally just the same thing with a different name in another tab, like Cookie Clicker, where it's like you're just multitasking the same shit, right?
Yep.
But eventually you end up with this Earth thing where it just zooms out and you just see these purple orbs leaving Earth, and you're like, just totally inexplicable. Like, I don't know what the fuck that is, but okay. Like, and you're clicking, and then all of a sudden the fucking window glitches out and closes, and then 3 windows pop up after you've exported enough resources into what ends up being the Milky Way or whatever. And then 3 windows pop up that look like this.
Just alien gibberish.
And the crazy part is you can easily play the game because it doesn't matter. Because you know, I need this. When I press this, this goes up, this goes down.
Yep.
Oh, this has a white border around it. I click it. It literally, instantly, I realized, oh, I don't need the words at all. The words don't fucking matter. None of it matters. Because the game has just trained you for this like feedback loop of I'm turning, because that's all games are.
Yeah.
You turn A into B into C, you get a thing, you unlock a thing.
Yep.
And this just like extracts that in its rawest form, which is like, oh yeah, none of the words mean anything. None of it matters.
God.
And it's no less enjoyable. For some reason, it's still just as satisfying to press the button.
When it's just Gleep Glorp language.
Yep. And then you just end up doing this. This is like another tab opens up. Each one of these is a separate fucking instance, and you just keep playing and playing and playing. And there's a third window that pops up that's just the Milky Way galaxy, and you see the little fucking orbs going bloop, 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 flying up into the galaxy, and you're playing it, and like all these different little things happen, and then once you like transcend, you know, and like do what you need to do and get to like a cosmic level, it's like, now, you know, transcend the multiverse or whatever, you press the button and you're looking at the Milky Way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like this. And all of a sudden what you see is like almost like a portal open up kind of thing. And a big giant cylinder comes down. And all those little purple orbs, you just see after a bit you realize it's a straw. And it just goes and sucks the little orbs up. And it's like, thank you for playing. Boba tea. The little balls.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just like.
So it ends on the what's the Men in Black moment where like the whole galaxy was in the little keychain on the kitten, and it's like all the universe was just in a bubble tea.
And it like, obviously it's fucking absurdly ridiculous.
Yeah.
And yet it's still just like, oh, I wondered why, because I saw the name like Boba. I'm like, oh, like tea. Haha, clearly not, right? It's about civilization and discovering, imposing your will on the civilizations. And like, yeah, it's obviously, it means something, right? And then just at the end, it's like, nope. I meant tea, bitch. But again, it's like, he just made it in 48 hours, right? It's just hacked it together.
Yeah.
But yet like this guy is so fucking genius because he just understands the core, very basic thing that is so subtle and so simple that when you think about it, you're like, of course. And yet none of us would have ever thought about the idea of like the meta idea of games are just Pavlovian fucking train you to do a thing. You do a thing, you convert A into B into C, it gets converted into D, you turn it in to get E, and you know, it's bullets or fucking scrolls or gold, you know, or whatever, right?
Yep.
And it's just such a simple, nice little like, oh my God.
Yep.
That moment where I'm like, none of it matters.
Yep.
None of the details matter. And at first, dude, I was like, there's got to be like this. I'm sure this is meta strategy. I'm like trying to min max. Like you really want to hit this, and the cooldown's like 4 seconds, and blah blah blah. And you want to make sure that you balance faith and blah blah. And then all of a sudden it's like, Gleep Glorp, bitch. And you're like, oh, none of it matters. And then you're just like 1, 2, 3, 4, click 5, 8, 1, 2, 3.
Gleep Glorp, bitch. That's
and
amazing.
And of course I had to make like the joke that wasn't a joke that I actually kind of mean, where I was like, the amount of thought and effort that went into fucking XDefiant is more than any of the last 5 fucking barns I just tried to hop into and got stuck in.
Yeah.
There's more thought and effort.
Yeah.
Like, it felt more intentional, like passion went into that.
Damn XDefiant.
Fucking XDefiant.
That's awesome.
Yeah, dude, I can't wait for fucking Pony Island 2. It's gonna be so goddamn good, dude.
Yeah. I ask you this every time, but when's it again? 25 or 26?
I don't know. Every time I see it, I get sad.
Yeah, that's why I thought that it was like the last time I asked, it was like farther away than
Pony Island 2. To be announced on the Steam page. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's like, it said like 25, 26, almost like glitching back and forth kind of thing, which I think that also might have been the like No Man's Sky sort of sequel. Nope. Pony Island is due to release between 25 and 26 according to the announcement trailer in 2024. Yeah, so damn, that is the thing. But
well,
I'm looking forward to it, dude.
Yeah, interesting enough, on the opposite side of a game that you're excited to come out, we got to talk about the death of a game. So remember, I told you a few weeks ago, we had a whole conversation about this. I told you that I had done a sponsor stream for XDefiant.
Page Chill. Gotcha.
Yeah. And we went on a conversation about like the gaming industry, because I thought XDefiant was really fun. And when it first came out, everybody was like, this game is so good, it's going to be a COD killer. And then
that was the game that you were like, I'm not sure. I don't understand why.
Yes. Like, and then that was when we talked a lot about like, do we just want the comfort and the sunk cost fallacy of how much we've put into a game more than we want better games? You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of that in Tarkov, where when I'm playing Tarkov, the community seems very like, oh my God, we just need something that's better than this. And then when something else comes along, there's an immediate rejection of like, oh, they just copied Tarkov, let's go back to what we know. And we had that whole conversation. And once again, very much so, I knew that I don't know what I don't know. Apparently, there was a lot of like fumbling the bag that Ubisoft had did with like some of their balancing or there were mistakes along the way. It wasn't just like, wow, this is a great game and nobody's playing it and I don't understand why. There were some mistakes along the way. But they enjoyed me and Ham streaming the game. So the agency was like, we had scheduled another sponsor stream for yesterday. Okay. The day before yesterday, the official XDefiant Twitter was like, hey, we're sunsetting the game. Starting right now, you can no longer download the game. Anybody that's spent money on our game in the past 30 days, we're automatically issuing refunds. GG's, we had fun. We're keeping the servers open until June 2025 if you already have the game downloaded, but you cannot. And so me and Ham were like, somebody literally, the way I found out about it, somebody tagged me on Twitter and was like, aren't you doing a sponsor stream for this tomorrow? And so we were like, what?
Do you have a contract?
Dude, we did the sponsor stream.
Still?
Yeah.
And they paid you?
Yes, dude. They were like, basically, because obviously,
cost of doing business.
Yeah. John Ubisoft is not the guy that negotiates sponsor streams, right? Ubisoft goes, hey, we want to do this much on ad spend. They hire out third-party companies that connect with agencies or creators, right? So the people that brought us the sponsorship were just as surprised. They're just working out of the ad spend Ubisoft.
They already got the money.
Exactly. So we were like, what's going on? And they were like, well, we can honor it. Like, basically, it's like, you have to do it, but like, we're not going to remove the contract, right? Like, you can do it. So...
Right.
So we ended up doing the sponsored stream, and chat was Oh, it was a good time. It was a good time, bro.
Now, you see, that's the kind of stream that I would be like, sponsor stream for the dead game that you're never going to be able to play. I'm making that bag.
My stream title was like full all caps, like we're riding into the sunset. Just like, and that was the thing is, we told them, we were like, hey, the only way I'm going to do this is if we're just going to be like giga transparent about what's happening. It's like, you can't download the game. This is literally not really an ad. Like, I'm not advertising anything. We're fulfilling our end of the contract. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's like they're paying me, and so I'm getting paid. You know what I mean?
Hashtag contractually obligated.
Yeah. So, but it was a crazy. But so that was just like, that took me by surprise. That, like, the sponsorships were for them launching their third season. There was tons of new content. There was press about it. They were doing like social media stuff. They were sponsoring streams. In their announcement,
they probably had metrics saying that like the marketing campaign is completely ineffective and it's going to be a giant.
And in the announcement, they were like, we're still launching season 3. So like they're like launching their season 3 or whatever to no one, to just the 17 people or however many people are still playing. So it was interesting, man. It was interesting. Like I was talking to my wife about it, and she was like, she was like, they just do that. They just like shut games down. And I was like, big companies do. Yeah. Like if you're like an indie game and you have 700 people playing, like you can leave, like a lot of times those games will get left up forever, but like, Ubisoft,
Tom's just not going to shut off his box in his basement.
Ubisoft they're not keeping it up. You know what I mean? They spent however many hundreds of millions of dollars on the game, on the marketing, on everything. It's like, if it doesn't meet their standards, it's gone. Like they are pulling it down. So it was fascinating, man. It was like super interesting to see some of the opinions of people in chat. I had a bunch of people coming in and being like, dude, I'm so sad this game is going. Like it really had something. They never really nailed it, but it really had something. I had people coming in being like, oh my God, I'm so glad this game is dying. Fuck Ubisoft or whatever. It's like, it was such an interesting thing, such a like quick, but I guess there's no slow way to do it. But it was just like starting right now.
It wasn't Concord, but it was.
But it was, yeah. Yeah, it wasn't Concord. I mean, XDefiant's been out for 6 months, not 6 days. But it was, I don't know, very, very interesting.
I came to the conclusion yesterday, because people were like, are you just kind of like over the survival FPS sort of genre, whatever. And I was like, I came to the conclusion that the last FPS game that was like over a certain threshold from like the good to great, that's really impressed me, that wasn't just like had potential.
Yeah.
Was fucking Doom Eternal. Like every other game, they all basically feel either identical or worse.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of the same sort of thing that I think you're again, like no one's wrong for liking it. I liked it for 10 bajillion hours. I just like, I need something else on top to keep me engaged. A story, or like, the movement. And honestly, the last 2 games I played that had fun, obviously not like realistic or hardcore or whatever, but fun gunplay plus movement, Doom Eternal, Satisfactory.
Oh.
It's like, those are Satisfactory is one of the best FPSs I've played in years, boys. That should fucking tell you something.
Oh man.
But the fact that you can like melee, lunge, jump, and then use your jetpack to like to like turn around 360, shooting fucking spiders that are jumping through the air. It's like, that's way more fun than just like sprinting.
Yeah.
Jumping over a fence.
Yeah.
Sprinting, running, sliding into a fucking brick room.
Yeah.
Jiggle peeking out. It's like, if you guys like shooters and you haven't played Doom Eternal, just fucking play it.
Yeah.
Watch any of the DJ Peach
Oh
Clobbers.
yeah. Oh yeah.
I'll say it, and I'll say it to his face. His Doom Eternal takes goated. I disagree with his Stalker. And now it's funny. It's funny because I watched his.
Yeah.
I watched it after like the first couple of days of me playing, and I was like, he didn't really say anything that I disagreed with. In fact, the like subtext that I got from it, from the things he said, didn't say, whatever, and of course some of this is projection reading into it, but it was basically like the game isn't good in like the core mechanics, performance, design elements, but like fuck, I love the experience anyway.
But he's like it's exactly what I want out of a Stalker game. Like it's a great successor to what came before it. So I think that kind of stands to reason that the subtext of that is standing on its own. I don't know, but in the chapters of Stalker, yes, I love it. Yeah,
he's like, like the things he liked. One of the things he liked the most was like hearing the random sound effects in the environment. It's like, for me, that's only cool to the extent that some percentage of the time there's something there.
Yeah.
And it's not just like ambiance.mp3 on repeat.
Yeah. But
yeah.
Doom Eternal, I watched his videos, that looked amazing. And I do feel you where like shooters are just in a weird spot where like I feel like shooters can't decide if they're chasing innovating what an FPS should be, or like shooters can't decide if what they're aiming for is to innovate and like be the next thing or to chase the nostalgia. You know what I mean? Like every new shooter game has the like, oh yeah, just like it was. But then people don't actually remember how it was. And they're like, oh my God, we hate this so much. And I don't know. It's just like, what's next? Like, what's the next thing? I feel like we're looking back quite a bit.
The next thing should be something like fucking Doom Eternal, where it's like, give me different. Now, this won't satisfy the people who just want to be Marine Andes.
Yeah.
Delta
And,
Squadron, meet me at the 47 North by -72.
Like, if you want to fucking RP, right? Like, you've got your squads and your Tarkovs or whatever, right? But I just feel like the genre outside of Milsim, it needs to go the route of like totally new, interesting mechanics, movements. It's got to be satisfying. It has to be attention to detail and all of the ways that those games either completely fail at or are just not even trying.
Yeah.
Like some games have like this, at best you had like, like COD, the COD that we played had like good vaulting.
Yeah.
And like, seamlessly going in and out of windows and like the slides weren't like absurdly dumb.
Yep.
They were like reasonable and stuff. But like, yeah, man. I mean, another really good game was Returnal.
Oh yeah, I've watched some gameplay.
I don't actually literally don't even remember. I can like picture the game, but I don't remember if it's an FPS or if it's
don't think it
was.
Person. I think it was third person.
But I mean, either way, that was also like a fantastic game. I just can't wait for like, there's gonna be another Halo, COD, like some new franchise that somebody new fucking comes up with, like FromSoft, make a fucking gun game or something. Yeah. Like, and people are gonna say like, Bloodborne or whatever the fuck has like musket pistols or something, and none of that's cool. As cool as carrying on a big fucking sword. So I'm never not gonna play that.
No, I mean it's I mean I'm with you. It's the shooter genre is just in a weird spot, and then there's also the just like everything's trying to be the everything game, and I feel like that's not how it used to be. Like, you know what I mean? Like
some games need Boba at the end.
Yeah. The back in the day, it was like the niche communities kind of attached to what they like. Like back in the day, it was like the casual people played more casual shooters. The movement people played movement shooters. And like, this game was kind of known for being crazy skill based. And this game, X game, was known for being whatever. And now it's like from a publisher side or from a game dev side, every game is trying to be the everything game. Like they want all the, movement gods to come and play because those guys are streamers and they advertise the game, but then they want, 700,000 concurrent players. So they need their average Andes to play. And then they have to have a movement system and a gunplay system that satisfies both people. And that just like doesn't work. You know what I mean? But it has to work because we have to sell 10 million copies because we spent $250 million in the game. And it's just this kind of like wheel that turns where I feel like the days we're nostalgic for, whether you were a movement guy or not, it's like games were just more niche back then. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the solution is. Even a game like Tarkov, which was like very much so wearing the we're a niche game on its sleeve, became a not niche game. And it's also in the same exact place now where you got the people that want what it used to be, the RP aspect of it. And then you got people that want it to be like, man, you got good bones. You should turn this into something faster paced and more PvP. And it's like, even that fell victim to it. And that was like the most like we're a niche game, fuck you if you think different game ever. And it is in where it is now, so it's interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, I've gone from, I'm in a weird spot where it's like, I'm not sure what I want to do right now in terms of like content. I'm like not in love with really any games that are like long-term kind of things, like I can play Inscription for, 4 or 5 days or something.
Yeah.
And, after I play the single player part, there's like it's called Casey's mod where it's basically a roguelike and you just go through and you play over and over and over again. And, kind of like Balatro.
Yeah.
But yeah, so trying to figure out what I'm going to do. And also been kind of just like depressed and cynical about games recently, just being like, fuck, I just need some good games. After coming down off of a high of just like playing a ton of like the last year and a half ish, like I played so many games that just changed the way I look at games. And people are talking about Path of Exile, so PoE 2. I literally, while we were talking, redeemed. I got a code, so I'm going to start playing tomorrow.
Oh, nice. I think. Hell yeah.
There was like an announcement, not announcement. It was like a stream where they went through and there's like 200,000 people or something fucking watching that. It was wild, the numbers they had. And it just, what I saw like looked really, really, really cool. Can't know how it's going to feel, how it's going to compare to my previous experience with Diablo 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
But it'll be something new, something that like I could sink my teeth into, for thousands of hours. Who knows if I will? I might just be kind of over it after a little bit, or this might consume my life. Because I'm definitely on the tail end of like Factorio. I just grinded it for like fucking hundreds of hours,
literally in a row. Yeah.
But I saw a video the other day that was talking about basically how Balatro was made. And what the guy did is he was talking about it uses, I don't know that you would call it an engine. It's more of like a framework.
Okay.
Called Love. I want to say like Love 2D, I think is what it's called.
Okay.
And what the guy did is he made basically like cards that you can click and drag that had like little bit of weight to them where you drag and you'd stop and it was like, like that subtle really thing that is like part of what makes it so satisfying when you're moving stuff around. How the whole goal was initially to do the whole like how like the cards go and like he's like, that's one of my favorite parts of the game when you win and all the cards go back in and it's like it's such a satisfying animation and sound. He's like, I want to try to reproduce that. And using the same framework that something Thunk. What the hell's the guy's
Local
name?
Thunk.
Local Thunk. And I only know that because of fucking
Northern
Lion. Using the same engine, it was like 6 lines of code to do this, like 4 lines of code to like click and drag to add a little bit of thing. These 5 lines of code, and it was like, oh my god. Because here's the thing, I'm a software engineer. I'm a programmer. I'm not a game developer. I'm not a 3D graphics modeler. You know, I'm not an artist. I could, I think, design a cool game. I could make a cool fucking soundtrack, I'm sure, right? Mm-hmm. But every time I've tried to dip my toes into like game development, what I end up in is like YouTube tutorial hell, where it's like, I want to make a ball roll, and everything is like, open up this starter project, click on these 17 menus. You want to take this checkbox, click it, and then connect it with this checkbox, do this drop down and click on this thing. And I'm like, when I first got excited about the idea, it was about the software architecture, designing these really cool systems, implementing it in a clean and elegant way, you know, all this stuff. And then it just ends up in, I feel like I'm fucking programming an Excel spreadsheet. It's like, I'm not programming. Now I know that you can use Unity and you can do Unreal and you can do programmatically, all the things can be, you know, but it's like 99% of the tutorials are not for those kinds of people. Trying to Google stuff it just ends up being like, I'm 2 hours in and okay, I'm just gonna go play a game at them. I'm not gonna make a game this time around. I saw this and was like, wow, it's really like lightweight, clean. I might give it a try next week. I might totally get over it. I don't know. It all depends. But I was, and I've never written Lua before, which is an interesting language. But yeah, I still have some ideas for some little things, and I'm just so inspired by fucking Boba and by Inscription and by Balatro and by all these games that are just like, you don't need 100 developers, $100 million, 100 features. You just need to fucking be competent. And to put your fucking heart and soul and brain into giving people an experience that you want. So I'm inspired. We'll see if anything comes from it, but
that's cool. That's cool that there's not just you're inspired by the games, but that there's a, like you said, an engine or a framework or something that actually has you being like, oh, okay, this might be what overcomes what normally stops me when I get inspired when these things happen. So that's cool. And
there's also the other aspect of it too, where it's like, I fast forward mentally to like, even if I have a game that's like 70% done, you start to think about like, now I need to design like store assets, and I need to do like submitting to the store and filling out the paperwork, and I need to design this, and it's like all of the other stuff that I'm like, you know, it's like playing a game like Factorio and getting 89% of the way through and just being like, I want to start over. That's the way it kind of feels, where like none of this other shit is fun anymore. It's all just kind of like administrative shit to get your game finished. That I'm like, you know, if I was smart, I would just like have a team, you know, or a couple people that would take care of those things. But here's the thing, like, I don't know anyone in the space, and or don't trust anyone. Which is why I do fucking everything myself, other than like 1 or 2 thumbnails. I do all the music editing, script writing, like thumbnails, like all this stuff, because it's too hard for me personally, relying on people. I also, if people deliver something and I don't like it, in many cases, I'm not going to fucking even say it. I'll feel too bad about saying it, you know, because so it's like, I don't know. We'll see, but first thing I've been like interested in a while that I'm like, oh, you know, maybe we'll see.
That's awesome. Hell yeah. Well, that's dope. Between that and PoE coming out tomorrow, I know people are hyped about it, and It seems like there was just a lot of game there and a lot of like people who are into that. There's a lot of stuff to do, and so it's that PoE is like Elden Ring for me. It was like, this looks cool. It looks like they put a lot of care into it. It's not a game I'm interested in, but like, dude, I'm excited. You're excited. I have a ton of people in my chat were like, dude, PoE Friday, I'm so stoked. It's like, hell yeah. I hope it's amazing. Like, I hope it freaking wins Game of the Year. Like, more good games is always better. So I know a bunch of people are super excited about that. So that's cool. But yeah, that's kind of the stuff, man. I mean, like, Tarkov, nothing's happening. They tweeted a list of fixes coming because it got so bad they had to address it, which means it got bad because they never address anything, and it's hilarious. Wipe's probably coming the next few weeks. Dude, I tweeted. Did you see?
Oh my god, another wipe? Really?
Yeah. Did you see
that soon? Fuck.
Yeah, September and December.
I say that soon. It's like the last time I thought about it was like the week after the wipe, so.
Did you see my tweet?
No.
I just literally thought it would be funny because I played yesterday before Delta Force came out, and a bunch of the raids were just super foggy. And so
sorry, I gotta move past the snuff film that's on my Twitter feed. The moment I open it up, it's just someone being assassinated.
Yeah, it's
cool, man. Cool.
Yeah, Twitter. But so I just kind of like, as a joke, I was just like, yo, some of my favorite screenshots from the wipe.
I saw that, but I didn't click on it.
Yeah.
Because I was just like on my phone. So all I saw was the little thumbnail kind of preview. And honestly, like zoomed out, like even the lower right picture where you have like the like it looks like it could be a nice picture.
Yeah. But
the moment I clicked on it, the first one, I was like, oh.
And that was the thing.
And it's like just
dude, it was an exercise. It was like, well, first of all, it blew up. And it had like 2,000 likes. It had 100,000 views. Like, holy. But it was such, like, every bit of the internet was there. Like, you had people that were like, dude, I feel you. Same. You had people like memeing. Like, there were so many like Silent Hill 2. Like, people would like Photoshop Silent Hill onto my screenshots. That was funny. And then you had that all the way.
Oh my God, that's S-tier.
Yeah. And then you had like you had all the way to like, dude, like thesis, like a doctoral thesis on like why I should be using my influence to contact the devs directly instead of wasting my time tweeting. It was just the whole gamut.
Use your influence. The game is only bad because you influence.
Yeah. And so it was just like, it was so funny because I didn't even think, I was like, I don't know if this tweet's going to get any kind of motion because like, I don't know. I was just like, I don't know. Some of my favorite screenshots from the wipe. It was just a joke, dude. And it went crazy. It was funny though. Yeah.
Now Velian's response makes sense.
Yeah.
Where he's like, just get a better PC.
Clean's tweet. Clean's response was hilarious.
Yeah, I told BSG to slide fog to max because even though I don't play the game much, I'm still committed to making sure I ruin the game as much as possible for everyone else.
Because like I think the day before that, a response to a BSG tweet kind of went semi-viral where somebody, the day before I did my tweet, was like, I can't believe that after all these years, Clean has still completely ruined the game for everybody and then doesn't play. Like something like that got a bunch of traction like the day before. So when I posted my tweet, he just like hopped on and it was so funny, dude. So funny. But
hashtag cancel Clean.
Yeah.
Oh no, wait, Fire Clean was already a thing. Never mind.
Fire Clean. But anyways, that is the stuff. That is the internet, the gaming news, the podcast news. Thank you guys, as always, for hanging. Thank you to Mando and Turtle Beach for sponsoring this episode. And as always, a special thanks to our patrons. If you want more content like this, you can go to patreon.com/thepodcastpod and get up to one additional episode.
We got plans for some
Oh yeah,
awesome new,
yeah.
Kind of maybe some ideas around some React content, sharing some music back and forth, looking at a few things. So yeah, it's we got actually have the idea for the beginnings of future potential plans.
We have the concept of a plan for more content. So thank you to everybody that's over there. You guys are the best. We appreciate you being here, and we will definitely see y'all on the next one.
Peace.